So let's continue our discussion on topic 3, the professional framework. So last time we discussed a number of threats which auditors have an obligation to identify, then be able to put certain measures to either eliminate or reduce the threats to a low acceptable level. So today we shall begin by looking at the safeguards to minimize auditors' independency threats, 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 safeguards to minimize auditors' independency threats. So the safeguards have been referred to those measures now put in place to reduce these particular threats or to eliminate the threats. These safeguards can be administered in 2 areas, one by the laws and professional bodies, and also the other one in the auditor's work environment. So when we're discussing the 5 threats, we're able to identify some of the areas whereby some safeguards can be put in place by the auditor. Like, for example, the self-review threats, for several companies you can avoid engaging in offering the non-auditor services, or you can have a rotational policy, or to create what you call the Chinese departments or a section. So I want us to look at some of the safeguard measures. So we can start with the A. Safeguards to independency created by the profession, safeguards to independence, safeguards to independence, safeguards to independence created by the profession, legislation or regulation, legislation or regulation. So which are these particular measures? One is educational training, and experience requirements. Educational training and experience requirements for entry into the profession. So get educated. After getting the education, you seek training. Then through the training, you'll be able to get experience. Like if you talk about practice as an auditor, once you have completed your CPA, put the requirement as part of the training so that you get that experience, to exposed to audit environment. So these particular licenses come with the end for an internship, 3 years internship from a reputable audit firm. Yes, good. Even Peter. Yes, Memaliza CPD. Ukakuwa registered as a member of ISPAC. You're going to have certificate. But also you want to go out there to practice as an auditor. You want to register your audit firm. One of the requirements is that you have to go for internship in a reputable audit firm. You partake the experience. The minimum years is 3 years. So as what is basically one of the requirements, as you partake your kit to come with a particular internships. So it's very important. You have to get that experience as part of just a regulation. I will try to get a cool agent, certain of the things on guesswork. Okay, number 2, continuing professional development requirements. 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 Hizo inaitwa nini? Inaitwa the CPD. You must attend the CPD hours. Here annually, cumulative 40 hours. Cumulative 40 hours of continuous learning. Now, it's classified into two. Hours the first structure into two. To what for the structure? The structure CPD hours na 125. Alafu tuko na unstructured CPD hours. Unstructured CPD hours na 15 hours. Total of 14 hours. As part of ensuring of this book, keep on updated on any new professional pronouncements, their standards, or a concept in the accountancy field. So as here, we organize a seminar, a workshop. Today is a seminar workshop. There's a 10-year seminar. You will be given 20 CPD hours. As a we organize another training on Sunday, which is 5 CPD hours. Last tuko na hizi unstructured. Unstructured unaweza kuwa umesoma a standard like IFRS 16 kamaliza. Notify kwamba umemaliza that particular student. You will do the 3 CPD hours. Unaweza kuwa umeorganize an outdoor activities, maybe with the golf club. You attend there particular day, you can get to 3 CPD hours. Unaweza kuwa umesoma any professional magazine or a journal. We tell the former yes to let that volume to the completion for that certain period. They give you the CPD. So it's not just to check former yes. The professional accountant is keeping themselves updated with whatever is happening in the industry. Number 3, corporate governance regulation. Corporate governance regulations. Corporate governance regulations. Corporate governance regulations. Yeah, so it's also very important to be up on the game in terms of understanding the frameworks of the corporate governance practices. For those essential principles, which also a professional accountant needs to be conversant with, because they have an impact on the reporting framework of audit. Next, the issue of professional standards. Issue of professional standards. Issue of professional standards. Issue of professional standards. Is having an idea of the professional standards. Now, maybe kuna any proposal to amend a certain standard. A good professional accountant who is well informed should be aware of such kind of amendments taking place, and even sometimes be contributing the ideas towards the amendment of a certain standard. Next, number 5, professional and regulatory monitoring. Professional and regulatory monitoring. Professional and regulatory monitoring and disciplinary procedures. 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 Next is external review. External review. External review. External review by a legally empowered third party. 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 Of the reports, of the reports, of the reports, of the reports, returns, returns, communications, communications, or information produced by the professional accountant. By the professional accountant. by the professional accountant. So upon completion of the work, and before you draft and write auditor's report, it is very important for that work to be reviewed, to be checked by another independent person. You're seeking what you call the second opinion of your work. Is one of the requirements of undertaking such kind of a review as part of the auditor finalization or conclusion. Took a number of different types of reviews that have been undertaken. Like one, took on what you call the hot review, the hot review. The second one, took on what you call the cold review. And now the third one, took on what you call the peer review. So all these are independent reviews undertaken just to ensure yes, the work was done in line with maybe the quality procedures or requirements. The people who did the job are also ethically qualified, who are competent to do so. They are also able to follow the auditing plans and the programs are put up in a place. Okay, then let's go to the safeguards in the work environment. 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 So which are some of the measures that auditors can put in place so that they also remain independent at their place of practice? Number one, the audit firm should have the audit firm should have an internal regulation system, an internal regulation system that reflects internal requirements, that reflects internal requirements, such as the number of the auditor staff, such as the number of audit staff, or audit partner, should have shares in the client company. 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 Number two, the audit firm should decline audit engagement. The audit firm should decline audit engagement. The audit firm should decline audit engagement. The audit firm should decline audit engagement where the threat to independence, is significantly high. Is significantly high. Is significantly high. Is significantly high. Next, the audit firm should have consultation procedures. The audit firm should have consultation procedures. The audit firm should have consultation procedures in place for problems relating to independence. 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 Next, the audit firm should require annual declaration. The audit firm should require annual declaration. The audit firm should require annual declaration from the auditor staff and partners, from the audit firm and partners, from the audit firm staff and partners, from the audit firm and partners regarding their independence, in relation to the audit client, in relation to the auditor client, in relation to the audit client, in relation to the audit client. And next point, the audit firm should practice audit rotation. The audit firm should practice audit rotation. The audit firm should practice audit rotation to mitigate against familiarity threats. To mitigate against familiarity threats. To mitigate against familiarity threats. And next, the audit firm should have policies and procedures. The audit firm should have policies and procedures. The audit firm should have policies and procedures to monitor if necessary. To monitor if necessary. To monitor if necessary. The professional engagement services. The professional engagement services. The professional engagement services. The professional engagement services. And next, the audit firm should have disciplinary mechanisms. The audit firm should have disciplinary mechanisms. The audit firm should have disciplinary mechanisms to promote compliance, to promote compliance with the policies and procedures, with the policies and procedures, with the policies and procedures. Policies and procedures. And next, the audit firm should have documented internal policies. The audit firm should have documented internal policies and procedures, requiring compliance with the fundamental principles. The audit firm should have documented internal policies and procedures, requiring compliance with the compliance with the fundamental principles. With fundamental principles. Next point, the auditors should discuss ethical issues. The auditors should discuss ethical issues. The auditors should discuss ethical issues with those charged with the governance. With those charged with governance. With those charged with the governance. With those charged with the governance. And last point, training the auditor staff. Training the auditor staff on the importance of independence. On the importance of independence. On the importance of independence. So those are the safeguard measures which can be put in place in minimizing the threats of auditors' independence. So before translate, you can check just a question On December 2021, December 2021, December 2021. Question number 1C, question number 1B. December 2021, question number 1B. December 2021, question number 1B. Question number 1B. December 2021. So explore the potential threats to an auditor's independence. Explore the potential threats to an auditor's independence. The question of 4 marks. In such a question, how do you go about it? There is explore. So I just say explore the potential threats to auditors' independence. So how do we go about that question? You just identify the threats, then we explain them briefly. As you identify a few of them, like in that case, you can just give 4. There will be an explanation. They will part to the marks. Another question is on September 2021. September 2021. On question number 5C. September 2021 on question number 5C. September 2021 on question number 5C. Question 5C. Question 5C. Question 5C. September 2021, question 5C. So the question is like this: identify the practical steps that the auditors might take to ensure independence and objectivity in their work. So what are some of the practical steps that you can undertake to ensure independence and objectivity in their work? Are we able to answer that question? Yes, using the safeguards up.